Oh man, her story quest is really going on way too long. I don't mind it, but I don't like when videos like this get cut into multiple parts. Especially when they cut abruptly and I don't know when it's going to happen. Because I don't really pay attention to the time when I record, because it's usually in the moment. Because, like, it's already going to be 6 a.m. And I've been doing this probably since around, like, 1 o'clock or so. Alright, so before you arrest him, allow him to see his mother. Let's go.
Alright. I understand.
And what sucks is this is, like, literally the end of the quest, too.
I don't trust this guy much. Be careful.
He even admitted it. He goes, you used the potion to change your appearance, that's why you look human. She says, yeah, you're right, and nobody even said anything.
Join the head nurse inside. If he tries anything at all, shout.
Feel like I'm losing my mind. Oh my god, okay. Yeah, I have a feeling this is the end of her quest, and it sucks because this is probably going to be, like, really short. Like, her quest has gone on for so damn long. This is literally the beginning of the 4th hour. Other character story quests were never this long.
Mom, it's me, Cotton, your son. You recognize me now, don't you? Mom, what's wrong?
I'm sorry, but I have some bad news. I examined your mother last time you were here, and it appears that due to her prolonged fever, she's lost her eyesight.
What?
Your appearance no longer has any bearing on her ability to recognize you. But there are always other ways to remind our loved ones who we are. Wouldn't you say?
No, it can't be. Please, Mom, open your eyes. It's me, your son, Cotton. If you really can't see my face, then here, take my hand. Tell me if you're your son's hand. I've done so much to get to this point. Please, you have to recognize me. No.
The temperature of his palm must have changed. I'm sorry. It seems I couldn't bring him back to you after all. It's you. Thank you.
She passed.
Mom, why will you answer her and not me? Why?
No more questions, Cotton. She's gone.
Mom?
I'm sorry to say this, Cotton, but you and I are not the same.
A day passes in a flash. Yeah, he's taken away. See, she drank the potion to save someone. And she didn't realize that the potion she drank that changed her appearance was from her master, who had dissolved herself in the primordial water and turned herself into a potion for her. She didn't know it.
The wait is over, everyone! The sale of our new skincare product, Maritime Essence, will now begin.
Another skincare promotion! And it's selling as fast as last time. Wonder what people would think if they knew what was in the last batch. Oh, Sigewinne's here too!
She made it.
Hey, Sigewinne! Oh, Traveler Paimon, hello! I hope you two got a good rest yesterday after all your hard work. Of course! Nurse's orders, right? Anyway, are you here to take notes for your next article? Actually, I'm mostly could help Officer Morgan wrap up yesterday's case. Ah, that reminds Paimon. That stuff sold like crazy, didn't it? Is it gonna cause huge problems? No, there's nothing to worry about. Unless modified, Butterfly Dew is an excellent skincare product that's completely safe to use. Besides, officers have already retrieved all Butterfly Dew purchased on the market. Now it's just a matter of disposal. After consulting Monsieur Nervillette, I came up with a way to neutralize any harmful effects. So it'll evaporate naturally, without polluting water or soil. Wow, it's Sigewinne to the rescue again!
Thank you for serving as our consultant, head nurse. All the butterfly dew we recovered has been disposed of, according to your instructions.
Great! Good job, everyone!
Also, you mentioned you wanted a copy of the Watts interrogation records. Well, technically, Potten's records. Anyway, I have them with me. Here. After he saw his mother for the last time, it was like all his mental defenses came crashing down. He put up no resistance during the interrogation and answered all our questions. We learned a lot. Apparently, the formula was something he discovered by chance while helping the criminal gang produce synth. Later, he came up with the idea to dilute it and use the resulting substance as a skincare product. Their supplier was Vache. But you could also argue that
I know that
they were
name.
the ones doing him a favor. His operation helped Vache's gang dispose of an enormous amount of evidence. It made for a seamless collaboration. One man's trash was another man's treasure, and there were no loose ends. It's no wonder we never noticed what Potten's gang was up to.
That was the guy who, in the main story quest, was dissolving Fontanians to use the water to turn it into synth. And he was doing it to try to find a way to undissolve them, to bring back his girlfriend or wife or fiance that got dissolved. And he was using innocent girls by kidnapping them to try to use it on them to find a way to undissolve them. But every girl he dissolved grew into like a giant hatred mass, and they all attacked him at the same time as giant oceanids, which is what they were at the time.
Vache again, huh? Is there still no end to the harm you caused?
Make no mistake, the crimes of Vache and his accomplices will come to an end. It's only a matter of time. Since the flood cut off their supply of primordial seawater, they've been forced to resort to riskier methods, like using their private reserve to attack people on the street. Naturally, those attempts all ended in failure.
Because their Fontanians aren't oceanids anymore, so primordial seawater doesn't work on them anymore because they got turned into real humans by Nebulette.
After receiving numerous reports, we were able to zero in on the gang and eventually round them up.
That sounds more like it.
Based on what he told us in his confession, we pretty much had him backed into a corner, even though he made a point of distancing himself from the gang while disguised as Rawat. He tried to throw us off his tail by reporting his accomplices, giving him enough time to transform back into Potten and see his mother one last time. But there was one thing he hadn't anticipated. Even though Potten had been missing for a long time, we were very much still on the lookout for him. So, the moment he appeared in public, after changing back to his original appearance, we caught him.
So he tried this once before, huh? Guess he really did want his mother to see him again. But in the end, looking at the interrogation records, it seems like he spent the first sum of money he earned as reward on his mother's treatment.
Yes, which is why I suspect that his initial motive for using the potion was not personal greed, but a desire to become somebody who had the power to save her. Even so, he went too far. In the end, he got what he deserved.
I understand. Thank you for bringing me these records. Why did you want them anyway? Potten was one of my patients, so I need to put together a medical file for him. My teacher always stressed that a person's life experiences are just as important to their file as their medical history. Why are you still treating him like your patient? Isn't he kind of beyond redemption now? Well, that may be true, but a patient is a patient, regardless of the choices that bring them to my care.
One last thing, head nurse. Please keep everything you know about this potion a secret. It would be for the best if most of Fontaine knows nothing of its existence. I know my fellow officers and I will be able to sleep easier if that's the case.
Of course! Not to worry.
Thank you for understanding. I'll take my leave then.
So, Sigewinne, did you ever use that potion yourself? Why do you sound so surprised, Paimon? I told you all about it. It was quite a while ago now. You mean that story about the witch and the potion? So it was really, actually, genuinely a true story? Yes, it really, actually, genuinely was. But
The process of making that potion.
I know. There are some secrets I can't tell anyone about. But considering everything we've been through together, I know I can trust you with them. Before I tell you though, could you follow me somewhere? I want to pay my respects to an old friend. Of course!
Her teacher. Yeah, but see, the thing that's different about Sigewinne, though, is, she used it to transform into a human to save her human friend. And she went to the witch to beg for a potion, and she drank it, but then she realized afterwards that the main ingredient in that potion was her master's remains, who had dissolved herself in the primordial water to make the potion for her. I'm guessing her teacher went to the witch and asked her to give it to Sigewinne at some point. I don't know the context, though. Fucking... Ah, it's never gonna work. Fucking rocks like that, you need a Claymore character. Don't you even look at me like that. What the fuck? I could go back to Chang'an, but hold on a second.
Ready to rumble.
Oh my god. I made my Ganming really strong recently. He almost hits like a truck. Look at that shit. Oh my god. It could be better, I know. But it's okay. I don't know why a lot of the characters have like same face syndrome, freaking Nebulette and Risley. Like when I first seen him, he reminded me of Hazo. In fact, he still kind of does. And if you see the new character in Notlan, he literally looks like Hazo fused with fucking Xiao. I shit you not. Kinich or whatever his name is. Kinich or Kinich? Okay, well, maybe it's not even said like that. It's like Kinich. I don't even know how you would say that. And then the other girl, Mualani, like Maulaini, she looks like Nilo. She reminds me of Nilo mixed with another character. Like, she's also a Hydro character too, but she gives off Nilo, strong Nilo vibes.
Excuse me?
And then the other tiny character, the other Geo one, that's supposed to be given for free. I don't know if she really is going to be. She's small like her, and she kind of looks like Barbara fused with Nahida, and her name's Kachina.
Oh, Nebulette and Risley, they're here too!
Good to see you, Traveler. Hi. I trust all has been going well for you.
Yeah, sure has, Ray Chase, who's also Noctis's voice actor. How you doing?
Big news, everyone. The Udex is out of his office on important business.
Why are you staring at him like that?
Is that genuinely something people would consider big news?
Why wouldn't they? Important business is a big deal.
What the fuck is happening?
Yes, you're quite right. When someone you care about requires emotional support, being there for them at the right time and place is of the utmost importance. After reading the Maréchal Seyfantin's reports, I had a feeling a trip here might be in order.
Take note. That, my friends, is how Monsieur Neuvillette shows that he cares. We're both here for the same purpose, actually. To accompany Sigewinne as she pays her respects to her late teacher.
So the old friend she mentioned was her teacher then? The witch? sorry. Paimon didn't mean to be rude. It's only because Sigewinne calls her that all the time, so...
I doubt she considers that title to be offensive, Paimon. Don't worry.
Indeed. In fact, I believe Sigewinne would take it as a sign of affection. She has spoken of this doctor on many occasions, and it sounds like she was a truly generous individual.
Well, some people think you could use the term witch as someone who's like, just like evil, like you damn witch, like you evil person, but other people view witch as somebody who's strong and has power. Depends on what it means to you. The word witch to me that means someone of power. Somebody who has some kind of power in some form.
In those days, many people harbored prejudices against Melusines. She was the only teacher willing to take Sigewinne on as a student.
Wow! It's really nice of you two to be here for Sigewinne. Guess you guys really look out for your younger colleagues, huh?
She's not younger, she's like 500 years old.
Younger colleague? Well, that might be true for the Udex, but I'm not sure I can say the same. Sigewinne served a sentence in the fortress of Meripede hundreds of years ago, and after she did her time, she decided to stick around. She's been an integral part of our administration ever since.
Like I was saying in part 1, she was sentenced to the fortress of Meripede because altering a person's appearance, like altering your appearance in any way, was seen as a crime back then, especially since what Egeria, the first Hydra Archon, had did to the people of Fontaine, because they were all Oceanids. But she used the primordial seawater to give them blood and turn them into humans, which therefore altered their form, and she created a new species, which was against the rules against Celestia. You were not allowed to create a new race of people without permission, and it was her altering their appearance, which was what Sigewinne had did to herself as well. She went from looking like a Melusine to looking like a human, which was considered a crime even back then, which is why she was sentenced.
Strictly speaking, the head nurse has been around longer than most people in the fortress, myself included. Pretty sure that makes me the younger colleague.
She served a sentence?
She committed a crime.
Yes. Long before I became Udex, there was an ancient law in Fontaine that prohibited any attempt to transform another species into a human.
Because of what Egeria did.
Initially, I and most researchers believed this law to have been imposed due to ethical concerns. But now, it seems more likely that the law was nothing more than an insurance policy. A way for Egeria to ensure that her people would remain insulated from the truth, thus enabling them to lead more straightforward, happier lives.
What I literally just said.
Ignorance is bliss, as they say.
Sigewinne had her reasons for choosing to obtain a human form, but the act was nonetheless in clear violation of the law.
Could you tell us a little bit more about what happened back then?
Certainly. Sigewinne does not object to her close friends learning about her history. In fact, I first learned of it myself because she confessed the truth to me of her own volition.
I like how that thing in the background looks like he has a fucking floating jellyfish hat. Oh, he's gonna whisper into his moon dreams of the past. Ugh!
Even with their daughter so ill, they kicked you out? Stubborn as always. And prejudice isn't a disease I can cure either. Shame that I don't have the energy to get over there. You're laughable, you old witch. You want to save everyone in Fontaine, but you can't even save the patient before you.
Master, what are you?
I discovered a strange disease, one I suspect that every Fontainian suffers from. But without witnesses or proof, no one will believe me. I had no choice but to experiment on myself to find a cure, but I hit a wall. And as you can see, it took a wretched toll on me.
Then I'll find a cure for you, and then you can go cure her.
There's no need. I'm beyond saving now. There's nothing you can do.
But, Master...
As I said before, a doctor's duty is to treat whatever ailments they can.
I know, but they don't trust me at all.
That girl. She's your first ever patient, isn't she? Tell me, What cost are you willing to bear to see her cured?
I'll do whatever it takes.
I like how it was dark and then it got brighter, as if a signal of hope.
Even if it means breaking the law and being punished for it.
As long as I don't hurt anyone. Yes.
Spoken like a true student of mine. Then I shall make one more final gamble. And see my experiment through to its end. Leave me for now, and come back in 2 hours. If I am able to work this miracle, then I will have found a way to save all Fontanians, and I shall be able to help you treat that girl. If not, then it means there is one more disease in this world that I cannot treat. In that case, do not come looking for me. I will leave you a parting gift. An accidental discovery happened upon through my study of this strange disease. It has little use, but it will at least help you cure this one patient you can reach.
When Sigewinne returned, the miracle had not occurred. She found a potion bottle and a note on the table. After using the potion as instructed, she gained her current form, breaking Fontaine's law in the process. And after I had confirmed the veracity of the events, I gave my verdict.
So that's what happened.
And left that potion behind. Her teacher sacrificed herself.
I fear Sigewinne only understood the full story after the truth about the dissolution of Fontanians was uncovered. When I reflected on all this with that knowledge in hand, I felt a deep sense of regret. As I use the law to uphold justice, there are times when I cannot help but acknowledge its ruthlessness. After the final details of the events surrounding Sigewinne's transformation came to light, I checked several sources and, thankfully, the legal code does not require Sigewinne to shoulder any additional punishment.
Wonder how she feels about all this.
Since she invited you here, I imagine she intends to speak of these matters with you, no? On behalf of the Maréchal Phantom, I would like to once again thank the Fortress of Meribee for your assistance in the response to yesterday's prison break.
Our head nurse and the traveler, Paimon, did most of the heavy lifting, I would say.
Sigewinne seems to be in good spirits. I trust work hasn't been too hard on her lately?
Well, she might be the only permanent medical staff in the fortress, but there's plenty of people with medical knowledge willing to help her out.
I am most relieved to hear it.
The way you're asking after her well-being makes you sound like a concerned parent.
I won't lie. I've always seen myself that way.
Aw.
Showing your age a bit there, don't you think?
Indeed. Actually, I often forget just how much older I am than you.
Well, while we're on the topic, what did you do before getting this job anyway? Spend all day swimming in the sea from east to west and then north to south?
Yes, and from the surface to the ocean floor on occasion.
Wow. Impressive.
Apologies, that was merely an attempt at humor. You can disregard what I said.
That's impossible, I'm afraid. My imagination's already running wild.
Well, isn't Neuvillette in violation as well? Because he's also... Isn't he a dragon in a human form? Like, that's not his real form. Isn't he not violating the rule either? He even said, I don't remember when I came to take this form. Like, if altering one's form is a crime, that's not his true form. Same thing with Zhongli, but Zhongli's a god, and this isn't his nation, so that doesn't apply to him. Venti's also in violation.
Here.
But then again, Venti's from Mondstadt, who's also a god. But the fact is, they're all in violation of changing their appearance, even Nahida herself, because Venti literally took on the appearance of his friend who died, the boy who cared for him, because Venti used to be like a little imp creature with one wing. And then when his friend died, he took on his appearance. That's not even Venti's true appearance. He's literally walking around looking like his dead friend. And Nahida was originally much bigger, but due to Rukkhadevata using all of her energy out in the desert to try to save the people, she shrunk down. which that's kind of like changing her form as well, because she went from being a tall woman to being a small imp child. She's not an imp, but she's like a small, tiny character. Is my point. Like, she changed her form. She went from being full size to small. That's like Lumion going from her size to being the size of Paimon. Like, that's still altering your form, which is what they all have done. The only one that's not in violation of changing their form is probably A. But then again, she lives in a puppet, which is not her form, but it looks like her, so it's not really changing her form. So I think the only one who's not in violation of the form changing is probably A.
The old friend I mentioned was my teacher. When she passed, her body was nowhere to be found. All that's left of her is an empty tomb. And even that's deep underwater now.
Sigewinne, the witch who gave you the magic potion, she was your teacher, wasn't she?
Sounds like Monsieur Nermillet filled you in.
After learning the truth, it must have been hard to process, huh?
Well, to be honest, after I realized what really happened that night, my first thought was that it kind of made sense. It seemed exactly like the sort of thing she would do.
What? She was planning to sacrifice herself and never told you!
That's just who she was. If flying is what it took to get a kid to take their medicine, then that's what she'd do.
Alright, but why did you turn yourself in?
I broke the law, simple as that. My teacher made her choice, and I made mine.
True. It's just the way Cotton framed it when he was asking you all those questions, it made Paimon really mad. You're not like him at all, and everything Nermillet said confirms that. And yet, you were still convicted and thrown in prison. It just feels so unfair.
Unfair? I happen to think just the opposite. If I hadn't served that time, I'm not sure I would have been able to stay strong when he was questioning me.
What makes you say that?
I knew you'd be curious. Let me tell you a story.
Here we go.
The verdict came down. This Melusine is guilty. Theodex defended the authority of Fontaine law, but he did not confiscate the Melusine's medical kit. And so, the Fortress of Meripede gained a new little doctor. She still wore her hood and raincoat, even though it never rained in the fortress. Perhaps thanks to her human appearance, no one refused her treatment. She treated more and more patients, and her sentence grew ever shorter. Finally, the people of the fortress could not live without her, and though her sentence ended, she did not leave them either. Then one day, she received an invitation from the outside world. The location seemed familiar, and when she arrived, an old lady was waiting for her. She saw right through the Melusine's disguise, but didn't reveal it. Instead, she asked a question.
Tell me, why do you think you gained the respect of so many people, despite being a Melusine?
Because I look like a human?
It's been 50 years, Sigewinne, and you haven't aged a day. I think everyone knows you are not human. I finally found you, after all these years. I still remember, you know. It was you who saved me that night.
The little girl.
But how? I was no longer a Melusine by then.
Does it really matter if you're human or Melusine? I remembered the warmth of your paw. It's quite unmistakable. And you know what? It hasn't changed one bit. You don't have to hide anymore, Sigewinne. These days, everyone wants to make friends with Melusines. And I think that it's all because of you. I'm sorry I couldn't say this until now, but thank you, Dr. Melusine.
Now that's an ending Paimon can get behind.
After hearing everything Cotton said, I wanted to tell him that it didn't matter who he looked like on the outside. But it was too late. The warmth in his palm had already disappeared. I tried to treat him, but the roots of his problem had nothing to do with his face. I understand. Thanks, you two. I appreciate you being here for me while I talk this through.
Oh, it's nothing. Our pleasure.
Oh, there's one more reason I invited you here. It's about time I finally give you what I promised.
Oh god.
In order to restore the appearances of the face-swapping victims, the Marechaussee Phantom gave me special permission to make a few bottles of that potion. And I made one extra just for you two.
We don't need it though. Shouldn't we destroy it?
Well, even if you chose to destroy it, I still thought I should give it to you first. You two did so much for me. How could I break my promise?
Well, fair enough, but anyway, I'm definitely not interested in this stuff anymore. Still, if this is the very last bottle in all of Teyvat, getting rid of it would feel like kind of a waste. Maybe we can give it a special meaning somehow. Oh, Paimon's got it! Melusine physiology wasn't affected by the Great Flood, right? So that means the potion should have a permanent effect on you. In that case, what do you say, Sigewinne? Ever thought about transforming back to the way you used to look? After all, from the Melusine point of view, Paimon bets Melusines look the cutest of all!
Paimon.
Paimon, after everything, do you really think it matters whether I'm Melusine or a human?
Well, what was Paimon thinking? You made up your mind a long time ago! Yeah, let's just destroy this thing!
Leave it to me. I'd like to stay here with my teacher for a little longer.
I'm your twin, I am you, you are me persona.